Good evening. What is your favorite book? Little House on the Prairie? Pride and Prejudice? What about your favorite movie? Star Wars? Hunger Games? Every great story is written by a good writer. But what about today? Many stories today don't capture the audience like they should be and often flop when they reach the box office. And one of the main reasons cited for this is bad writing. But why? My name is Solomon Rory. I'm an aspiring author, and I've been learning writing techniques since I was 14 years old. Today I will be teaching you not how to write great stories, but how to avoid making bad ones. We will dive into ideation, how to pace your story, and how to present your story. First is ideation. In Robert McKee's book, Story, Substance, Structure, and the Principles of Screenwriting, he tells of a twofold process where you have your premise and you have your controlling idea. Your premise is the spark, it is the what if that inspires the story. But the controlling idea is where the story is directed. So let's say the premise would be let's say the premise is a boy goes to the stars to fight a fascist empire, or vigilante goes to the streets to fight against supervillains. That would be considered a premise. A controlling idea is, as Robert McKee described, it is the ultimate meaning expressed in the climax of the last act. A way to explain this would be, let's take the Black Panther. How would you describe the meaning behind the Black Panther? One way to describe it would be, we are all responsible for each other. That would be a way to describe a controlling idea. It directs where the premise is supposed to be leading. Next, we have our pacing. If I abruptly tell you that it will rain and then it does, you would probably feel pretty blindsided, right? The reason is because you didn't have any time to process the information that I gave you. This is an example of bad writing. Stephen King says in his book, Memoirs of the Craft, that pacing is the speed in which we receive information, we the audience. In the eighth Star Wars movie, you have two ships slowly chasing each other for about 80% of the movie. Nothing is happening, nothing is really going on, and we are receiving information at such a slow rate that it is boring to watch. So, what does that mean? Where's the problem coming in? As I said, when you see pacing, you have to think of it more like a dish. See, pacing has to be considered, that has to be taken from one speed to the next, depending on what's going on in the story. Kind of like how a dish is cooked from one heat to the other. So let's say I need it at high heat, or I need it at low heat at a different moment. That is how we should treat our pacing in our stories. Next and last, we have presentation. You see, when we present our ideas, pacing is also affected in this too. It is one of the key principles alongside show, don't tell. Vanderbilt University explained in an article titled Show, Don't Tell that the author must trust the audience's intelligence and show them what's going on, not tell them or explain to them. In the ninth Star Wars movie, we see an example of telling instead of showing. We are told that the Emperor from the sixth movie has survived. We are told that he's amassing an army, but we are not shown any of it. This is why presentation within showing does not is so important, because if you do not show the audience what's going on, the audience won't have a reason to care, and in some cases it might not even be believable. In closing, we have explored how to avoid bad writing by focusing on our premise, our spark, our then leading into our controlling idea, which is our direction. We've led into our pacing, how to properly pace a story so that way we can keep the audience interested, as well as showing the audience instead of telling them directly what's going on. I know we've seen some bad stories over the years, but if we want to make a good one, then we should do it ourselves. I encourage you to write a story for yourself rather than waiting on someone to make one for you. Every story is an experience. So let's make an experience for someone just like those experiences were made for us.